Right, welcome to the pod. Yes, Dave, we're at Wembley, clearly.
Where are the Montenegro?
You've lost the Montenegrians. Who is Marko Vasovic?
And score.
It's the guy!
It's that guy! Damn it!
Dave is just sat home. So these are the voices in his head.
Mystery Cooler is calling.
Literally, we're one episode in. We're in the mystery of the series.
And so you just read out my email. Thank you.
That's it, we're done. Serbia have scored against Portugal. Oh, good.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Yeah, that didn't go as well as we'd anticipated. Well, no one's going to find out, are they?
Hello and welcome to the Odds On podcast with me, Dave.
And me, Dan.
And today we have a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, special guest?
I would. Hello, my name is Liam. Thank you for letting me be here.
That was a lovely introduction. And well done for not saying your last name.
Right, thank you.
Yeah. So, Liam, can you tell us what football club do you support? I'm imagining it's a big titan of football. We can get into the chat. Be great.
It is a massive title. I want you to be prepared.
I'm going to take an extra sit down.
I would. Yeah. It is
That's great for our audio
Yeah,
listeners.
Yeah. It's the mighty Milton Keynes Dons.
Can we edit in like the sound of like
Absolutely.
tumbleweed?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely we can.
The titans of football.
the title of football
Dons.
that won on the weekend.
They did.
Oh, congratulations.
We won a
no
football
one
match.
knew.
Anyway, moving on.
There were about 10 people in the world who were aware that MK Dons played. Considering they have 11 players, it's a real problem.
One of them wasn't Gino.
Shut up.
So Liam is going to be joining us. He's going to be giving us his input on some of our opinions from maybe last week and some of the issues going on this week, as well as involving himself in some of our bets and also possibly involving himself in our odds-on game.
Which is brilliant. As we said last week, we really want people to be getting involved in the pod. We've not done great on social media this week, guys, so we really need you to push that.
I wonder
Give
why.
us some likes, give us some comments. That'd be really helpful.
Every like is appreciated. Every subscriber is appreciated. Every comment is there. And
I mean, if it helps, I did like this.
you
this
did.
week,
You did
so
like, and you did.
Yeah.
Even if
subscribe.
it's a bad comment.
No,
A
no,
comment's a
yeah,
comment.
I did also give a bad comment
You
as
did
well.
also give a bad comment. So the social media influence has not been great, but we're hoping to spread out. It was only our first episode, so we can't be expecting much.
Onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. So without further ado, let's get into our discussion.
We'll go through our bet from last week, and we'll
Yep.
just chat about the games and see how well we did. Because actually, we didn't
We
do
did
too bad.
all right,
this
didn't
week.
we? We did all right.
So shall we start with our first game? City versus Fulham. We had City to win.
We had the
Who
three
would
on
have
the-
thought?
we had the
Who would
three
have
on the
thought that
nose.
they might have won?
And they did 2-0. Liam, do you have any comments on that game?
I mean, no disrespect to any Fulham supporters, but I genuinely do think that Fulham were absolutely atrocious.
They were.
They had
bloody
no
awful.
organisation whatsoever. I mean, Scott Parker
What has he told the defenders to do? I'd just love to know. He
Just
just
run away.
run away from them. Yeah.
just prepare to be bummed.
Prepare to be
Prepare
bummed.
to be bummed.
Eh.
But no, in all seriousness, like they are a championship team at best.
Can I just give a shout out to Tom Kearney, the captain, who I must say looked so out of his depth.
Yeah.
I think for me, he outdoes Yaya Sanogo for looking terrible in the Premier League. I mean, he
Wow,
was
what are you saying
just-
about Yaya Sanogo?
He was
The
just
titan of
awful.
football.
I mean, you can say that City are obviously probably the best team, but Fulham, yeah, just absolutely atrocious,
And-
awful.
That's it. Moving swiftly on. Our next game is United versus Watford.
At the end, it was what we went for.
Yeah,
But we did predict problems for United.
definitely.
And there were some serious problems for United.
Oh, absolutely. Ollie came away from that game saying he felt like it was a draw.
Which is a bit weird considering the scoreline.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, you talked about last week, Ollie. Is he gonna succeed? But
It's a great joke.
I actually slightly disagree with what you said. I know you're very much for maybe not him succeeding, but I do feel like he's brought back life back into the side and the fear into the players. So, but that is my personal opinion.
Wait a minute, you're disagreeing with my opinion.
Disagree
Get
with
off
that
the
opinion.
podcast.
Well,
The titan of
Well.
footballing opinions.
No, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
I
Obviously.
mean, yours is wrong.
Yours is wrong.
I think a lot of people might back me up rather than you.
Yeah, and they're all
Anyway.
United fans. But,
Is there we got much else to say about the United game? Isn't it? It's just a bit...
Luke Shaw's ball for the
Oh,
first goal.
absolutely
Oh,
phenomenal.
phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal. Let's move on to our next game, which I believe is Burnley versus Wolves.
So, Dave, would you like to apologise now?
I would like to come out now and apologise for thinking the Wolves would win, although I was robbed because Jimenez didn't even start. So if Jimenez had started, we would be sitting right here right now with £950, I'm sure.
So can I just point out, right, that on the previous pod, I said Burnley at home, Fortress, they're going to win, and that's exactly what happened.
It is.
2-0.
But
And
the
Wolves, man, they cannot finish. Or at least they couldn't in that game.
No.
They had about 1,000 chances.
I also appreciate that in the notes for this podcast, and you've written, told you Dave, under this section.
Well, I did bloody
absolute
tell you.
Dickhead. Let's go on to our next game, Dan. And now, there's a bit of chance for revenge on my part.
So, sorry, Dave.
This is the Brighton versus Southampton game. So we both made mistakes. I'll be the bigger person. There's always going to be mistakes when we make betting. But Højbjerg, stunner for Southampton, puts it 1-0 up. And there's a lot to say about the Southampton side.
So,
It's the stronger. It's looking strong going into next season.
They're playing a lot better under
What?
Hassan Huddle.
and there's a reason I think that the Southampton fans are going to be optimistic, and that we will discuss a bit later when we get to Cardiff.
Absolutely right. Let's move on to our next game, and this is the Palace versus Huddersfield game.
We got this one right.
We did.
get this one right. We said Palace would win, and strangely enough, against the worst side I've ever seen. I must be honest.
Since probably that derby in the
Yeah, it
towards
was. I was watching it
2009
on
season.
Yeah, I was watching it on Soccer Saturday, and it was genuinely heartbreaking to watch because Kami was on there, and he was like, "If they score this goal, Huddersfield go down," and then they scored, and
And he wasn't looking. He
No,
didn't know
yeah,
what was
Yeah,
going
no, I
on.
don't know, Jeff.
yeah. So, but no, they are dog shit. And I look back on Arsenal's season, and I think we only managed to scrape a 1-0 against them, and it fills me with great sadness and furious anger.
I mean, I just look at that side, right, and everyone's going on about the Derby team and how bad they were, and I think Huddersfield are pretty damn close to that.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got so much fight, and all of them looked absolutely dead on their feet. They just don't have the quality at all.
Let's go straight on to our next game.
Okay, so we've been contacted by a West Ham fan who wanted to tell us, he was a bit cross with us last week because we said that this was going to be a boring game. And he was right to an extent that it wasn't a boring game,
But
but it didn't go well for
it didn't
us.
know. And it's fair to say that Everton looked pretty decent.
Yeah, no, I buy that. And what I do want to say, though, is it didn't get much time on Match of the Day, but I just want to bring up the defending for Zuma's goal. Right, because everyone was getting all shirty at the marking or what have you. But if you put 5'0" Aaron Cresswell on the post, he's not going to be able to do
Yeah.
anything useful.
No, yeah.
I mean, he was stood in position, ready to head that ball, and it went top corner exactly where he was stood. I'm sorry, who made that decision?
Yeah, I know.
It just, it was
Yeah.
baffling to me that they let him be on the pitch.
And like you say, though, you do have to praise. I mean, Everton. I mean, Marcus Silva obviously is. I personally think he's quite a good manager. I know that obviously he's not done the what was supposedly expected of Everton this year, but I feel like if they give him time to make his style of play, he will eventually get there, and he will get the Everton back to where they are supposed to be.
Definitely. I mean, Richarlison was an inspired signing.
Yeah. So, sorry, where are they supposed to be? Here,
Well,
in
I
a bin?
reckon.
Yeah.
No, it's like, if you think about it, with like they were always challenging for Europa or Champions League, they could be back up there with his style of play. I mean, there's a lot of teams that have improved. and are fighting for the Champions League and Europa. But you feel like they shouldn't be, but like mid-table below.
It's nice to see that they're sticking with a boss and
Yeah,
giving him a
definitely.
chance to implement.
Managers are swapped so easily nowadays.
Well, this was one that we got fine.
Yeah, we got
did
this right. We thought Everton
Um,
would win this game.
Next game, Leicester versus Bournemouth.
We called this one right as
Yep.
well, actually.
I think Tielemans is. They need to have him on a permanent. He's absolutely wicked.
Yeah.
The ball into Jamie Vardy, mate. Oh, he was very good this week. And where's Morgan? Out of bloody nowhere,
Yeah.
centre back scoring from outside the box. I mean,
I
what
love
was
that.
that about?
Everyone loves a bit of that, don't they?
It's incredible.
But not a lot to say on this one, really. We sort of called it in our last one
It
that
was
we said
pretty
Bournemouth were
standard.
going to be shit away from home, and
Yeah.
Leicester were
They
going
were.
to. Brendan was going to do fine. Vardy was going to score. Cardiff versus Chelsea, on the other hand.
Yeah.
This, on the other hand,
So, who's still angry about this? Even like not as a Cardiff fan.
I mean,
Oh,
it's poor
It's-
refereeing.
it's shambolic. And the thing is, it does mean that the case of VAR, presses onwards.
It was just
Yeah.
disgraceful. I mean, it really was, because Cardiff, it wasn't like, given the decisions and whatever, Cardiff weren't actually playing very well and they were clear and obvious bad decisions. Cardiff should have had 2 penalties. Rudiger should have been sent off. And Chelsea only technically scored 1 goal.
Yeah.
And when they scored that goal, they should already have conceded 2
Yeah.
penalties, had a man sent off, and not been 1-1.
So might not even have
I
scored.
mean,
that goal.
it's like the
It's-
way you say, it's the push for VAR, and I think the importance of VAR is to make sure that it's obviously
I think
it's still got to be humanely. Like it's all this thing about if like one like tiny toe is offside.
No, the thing
it's
that
not
annoys
offside,
me
is it?
is
It's not
that
humanely offside.
the argument for VAR. A lot of the one I hear is it stops it being entertaining. No, it doesn't, because
No,
it's so
yeah,
much
it doesn't,
suspense
no.
waiting for that decision to be made. And B, it's not a reality TV show. It's sport. You watch it because you want to see a fair sporting contest.
Yeah.
But also, if you work for Cardiff City, right, this is your livelihood. This isn't some little, look at me, I'm trying to be famous. You're working at the grounds, you're doing all this. And actually, being in the Premier League is a fucking big deal to
Oh,
you
yeah.
and your family. And if you get relegated because of some dodgy decisions that some muppet made because he wasn't paying attention, that is unacceptable.
Yeah.
And I think Cardiff actually, they've been trying this year. It's not like they said that when they came up that they'll go straight back down, but they're trying to stay up, and that's what you want. And if you stay up, I mean, like not Huddersfield for any, but it's a bad example. But if you stay up for one season, you then think, well, the money's going to be put in, the players going to come. But if you get, it's poor refereeing, and it's heartbreaking with Cardiff. You feel for them.
We here on the Odd Time Podcast feel for you, Cardiff.
Yeah.
We are all gutted for you, and that ultimately they have been through a lot, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's
And
a real shame.
I just think what's going to be horrible about it is Neil Warnock's now going to get fined for what he said about the referees. And
Yeah.
you go,
What?
no,
He's not wrong.
look at yourselves and sort it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we
Speaking from the heart.
could spend a whole time feeling sorry about Cardiff, but let's feel sorry about Spurs. Oh wait.
Oh, hang on a
No,
minute.
let's not.
Yes, come on. Right. So I said this to my dad when we scored, well, rather they scored
scored
our
for
second
you.
goal. It's on. All right. I'm all in now. The title is on.
Yeah.
We are going to push City
I might-
to
Yeah.
the fucking
And
I
if
might insert a clip from last week where you were like, "No, we're not going to
Nah,
win."
no, I believe now. I'm done. I believe.
If you look at the run in as well, you've got the better of the games. I know, like we were speaking about.
Yeah,
earlier,
we were
that
saying earlier.
City always perform on big games.
They don't
They've
really
still
care.
got. I know you're still in the Champions League, but they've still got the FA Cup that they've got to think about. They've still got the Champions League. They're playing Tottenham, and they've got to play Tottenham and Man United in the league. You've got. I think your biggest game at the top.
It's
Six is
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Yeah. And they're, Chelsea. So
I think the
No, I
only
think so.
thing I'd say for Chelsea is in the Brendan Rodgers season, that was the game.
It's true,
That was
actually,
it.
isn't it?
But the difference was, and correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but that was Stamford Bridge. And I think,
yeah.
and this time we're at Anfield,
That's true.
and I'm just praying that Sarri doesn't get sacked until that game.
Yeah.
Because if Sarri's still at
Yeah.
Chelsea, we will win that game.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I believe now.
Yeah.
Can I do my Jermaine Genius round, please?
Should we talk a little bit about the game first so people have a little bit of context, and then you can open
And
a
then
can of
people
worms
can
on
go make a cup
Jermaine
of tea
Genius.
or drink a beer while
so
you're
if you
having
didn't-
a rant.
If you didn't listen to our last episode, what are you doing here? And if you also, we made the bets about the specific game that we did. We've had a focus on this game in particular, and we'll be doing that every week. But the Liverpool Spurs game was our game for last week, and we predicted it was going to be you predicted it was going to be a 3-0 stonking of Tottenham. I said it was going to be a 2-0, and we said that Son would get a yellow, Matip would score, there'd be more goals in the second half, and
Spurs wouldn't score.
Spurs wouldn't score, and on a lot of that we were wrong. Son didn't even start. Matip surprisingly didn't score.
Who'd have thought?
At
At least we didn't go Lallana, which is what we got to
fucking
do.
hell, yeah. But all things considered, we weren't. There was more goals in the second half. But no, I think we need to work on our punditry and hopefully develop our football knowledge. But with Liam here, I'm sure between 3 collective minds, we can make a good effort for the next
If
game.
Dan's allowed to have a rant, can I have a rant later about Forest Green's by fucking vegan?
Oh,
We'll get
don't
there,
you
we'll
worry,
get
we'll
there.
get into that. But Dan, would you like to open a can of whoop ass on Jermaine Genius?
Okay. So, Jermaine Genius, I listened to your punditry on Match for the Day, right? And you talked so much bollocks, and I just want to explain why, okay? First of all, this idea that Spurs were on top, that they were playing really well against Liverpool, that they were... First half, mate, you didn't have a single shot worth a damn, okay? First half, Spurs were bloody awful, and we played really well, okay? Now, yes, the goal... The final goal, the own goal, was completely Lloris's fault. And yes, Lloris let the side down. But no, that is not the reason that you lost. The reason that you lost is that we're a better team than you, Jermaine. Okay? Across the park, we have better players than Tottenham.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jermaine, can you just maybe take it easy on Lloris?
Yeah.
And
We've,
just move on with your life.
We've got some breaking news, Dan.
Dan,
Would you like to know where the Liverpool-Chelsea game was played
in the
last time?
2014, when you said that they made a slip-up, do you want to... where did you say it was?
At the bridge, wasn't it?
Sunday the 27th of April 2014. Was it the bridge?
Oh, was it at Anfield?
Yes. Chelsea blew open the race for Premier League title by ending leaders Liverpool's 11-game winning streak with a deserved victory at Anfield.
Fantastic, right. And then, our last game, that I am not seeing on the notes.
Yeah, well, it's not even noteworthy, alright?
He's-
Some team...
Some
I
shitty
do-
team
I
that is
do-
based in London, is it?
I do owe Liverpool a significant debt of gratitude, because by beating Tottenham, you allowed the mighty Arsenal to slump over Newcastle and take the 3rd place spot.
How do you feel that Aaron Ramsey is clearly your best performing player at the minute?
And he's
got...
about to go.
He's so... The thing about that is there's a lot of things to take into account, because he's very formy. He's such a formy player. He's also made of glass. And also, part of me thinks he's playing his best now because it's A, he's trying to show us what we're losing,
Yeah.
but B, he's showing the club, like, I want you to win. I want to get you into a position where I know you'll be good. Because he does, you've got a lot of ties with this club. So, but I don't know if he's our best player at the moment.
On form-wise,
Form,
he's certainly up there.
He's up there.
On form wise,
Because Aubameyang's form has fallen off a cliff.
I think
Um,
Lacazette doesn't get enough credit for the amount of his work rate in the game.
I mean, I don't know whether... I can't remember. Listening to your pod last week, did you like Mustafi? I couldn't quite remember what we...
he's a quality player. I
I thought you
If
mentioned
you've-
he was a quality player. I
Have
can't
you
remember.
seen his cross?
Here we
No.
go.
There's a video, and I'll link it in the description, of Mustafi running.
Yeah.
He goes on a.
Yeah.
He's like Messi
Yeah.
running down the right wing. He's flying past 3 of the Newcastle players. No pressure on him to do this cross. He goes for it, spanners it off, and it goes that way as opposed to, well, he goes forward instead of left.
Yeah, I was
And-
going to say that's great for the
Yeah, I was gonna
audio
say,
viewers.
and it cuts to Aubameyang, and Aubameyang's just laughing at him. It's just like, it's the worst cross I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've seen all three of us play football. Well, that sums up our bets for last week. So I think we should get into our main bit of discussion for this week, all of our sporting news.
Absolutely right. Let's take a break, grab a beer, and we'll reconvene in a few minutes.
We'll see you after the break, guys.
Okay, and welcome back. As you may have noticed, acoustics slightly different in this room.
We've moved rooms down.
As you do. Podcast on the move. Why the fuck
You
not?
live life to the full, lads.
Podcast on wheels.
So we started in Dave's bedroom and we moved to the kitchen
Slash. Yeah.
because I'm cooking.
And it's much more comfy down here than it is in my room.
It is actually, and it's a nicer space.
Absolutely.
Well,
is.
look at the view.
We can.
We've got a nice
We've got a
rainy
brick wall.
and a rainy day and a half-open shed. Perfect setting to get on with our first topic of the day, Dan.
And what is our first topic of the day, Dave?
I'm glad I didn't ask him because I'm sure he would have known. We're going to be talking about, are boxers mental?
I mean, there's a very clear answer to this question, and that'd be
A
yes.
resounding yes from all of the odds-on crew here. But the reason we're a crew.
Here we are, the odds-on crew.
That's the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
Odds-on crew, and we do it for you.
You make it sound like we've got someone editing this. So I feel it's
yeah,
us
it's
with
me.
a iPad in the kitchen.
Not true. But the reason we will be talking about this today is because of what happened with David Price and
Cash Ali.
Cash Ali. What happened with David Price and Cash Ali, Dan?
I think the best way to describe it is Cash Ali channeled his inner Mike Tyson and bit David Price, except it wasn't like on the ear or anywhere sensible. It was like in his chest.
It's like he's trying to give him a hickey.
I don't know why I pointed at myself as
Yeah.
if someone would see
No
it
one
on
put it
podcast.
in your chest. I think people know where the chest is, hopefully.
No, but it's like he was. It was almost sexual.
It was a little love bite, wasn't
Yeah.
it? I don't know why Price got so annoyed about it, to be honest.
No, well, he wasn't. He
Trying
started
to show
smiling afterwards. He was a bit happy, but nonetheless, mental behaviour.
Why is a
Actually,
grown man
Yeah,
biting another grown man?
David Price, phenomenal boxer. I think he took a bad loss to Povetkin, but I think he's
And there's no shame in losing to Povetkin, to
No.
be fair, because he can throw some fucking
Definitely.
punches.
but I mean, even as good as David Price is, I don't think he resort to biting him in the stomach.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Yeah, just to keep him down.
Well, what did you make of Price's interview? That he reckoned that Ali did it on purpose to be thrown out of the event.
It wouldn't surprise me. If Ali was in, I didn't actually catch the whole match, but if Ali was in a place where he was losing, which I imagine he probably was badly, he would rather go out like that than on his
Still
back.
get the headlines, wouldn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And no press is bad press.
But surely he's going to get some kind of suspension for this. I mean, he's getting on a bit now, isn't he? No, he's only 27, Cash Ali. He's got plenty of time. It's David Price who's getting on.
Well, this is why he might have done it. Is one thing. He knows he's got enough time to get back, and he knows that despite it not being a friendly headline to his name,
It's the fear factor.
it's a headline to his name.
He's
The
also
fear factor
not.
as well.
He's not a big name.
No.
I guess. And it might be that sort of it gets him a big fight.
Exactly.
Because people think.
They want to see him get beat up. Everybody wants to see the douchebag get slapped, and people will pay to see that. And but it's unfortunate that it wasn't like a good bite. If you know what I mean, it was a bit of a little.
So
supple.
I feel as a Liverpool fan, I'm
Lewis
in prime
Suarez.
position to comment on the quality of the
bites.
bites. All right. I was somewhat disappointed that he didn't get a nice grab, biting on the shoulder, and then pretend that he'd fallen on his teeth.
If
But,
people hadn't already stopped listening, they have now. They think it's all over. It definitely is now. But not just in this match, but with also who else has done some mental things recently?
So let's move on to Kubrat Pulev. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right,
Definitely.
but this is the imbecile who kissed the female reporter after a fight, and then claimed that they were friends, even though the reporter went and met him once, which indicates maybe you're not friends.
No. Enough's been said about this already, but
absolutely right.
I don't think it comes as a surprise to anyone that he is an absolute buffoon for doing this, but it does sort of play into the whole, if you're getting hit in the head as a job, you might not have all your screws in.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, you
Who
spend
would
your
have
life
thought
getting
that?
punched in the head. Who would have thought that you
Well,
make
There was
dodgy decisions?
There was the one that you were telling us about recently, but they got combed.
Oh yeah, so this was a bizarre story I came across. So this guy Adonis Stevenson, again not sure about the pronunciation, but he's 41, right, and he was still boxing, and got put in a coma, and he's only just like coming back out, like talking, walking again. And the guy who put him in the coma, like, you know, he stepped up to get punched in the head. It's not the guy who put him there's fault.
No.
But he's now fighting again and retained his title against this French dude, undefeated, really good fighter. But you just think, you've put a 41-year-old in a coma, like.
Have a little bit of it, yeah.
This is bizarre.
There's no sense to it, is there?
And I think it would be really interesting to look into this a bit more and see the standard of care that boxers get. Because you've got to think it's got to be massive, or at least it should be massive.
But I don't subscribe to this idea of, oh, well, they shouldn't do it because of the damage they receive. Because personally, I think, well, some of these guys, like if you look at Anthony Joshua, he was born to do one thing. If you take that from Anthony Joshua, he goes back on the street and he's fighting people illegally and causing problems. Whereas actually he got picked up by a boxing... He got picked up by a boxing club and they turned him onto a right path.
I was worried with where you were going, but then I remember watching the documentary. He had an Asperger bracelet at some point. Yeah.
He was going for
He's
down a bad
such
path.
a changed man, and he's actually a genuinely nice man. I mean, I haven't met him personally, but you do see him as a genuinely nice man.
I feel like
Different shows, chat show. Yeah, you feel like you're in the same room.
And he's
You see him on
fantastic.
TV.
Yeah.
I do think there's a place for fighting sports, but we do need to protect our sportsmen a bit better.
Yeah,
across
and
the board.
Footballers, they play for a specific time. They normally retire 38, 39 probably latest, okay? And then you think that, okay, they're on a good wage, but because obviously they've got the money, they spend it and spend it and spend it, they don't then have the money when they're... Which is that, I know, and don't get me wrong, they need to learn this themselves. They need to save the money and maybe get another job. But you see some footballers that have gone on to street gambling and lost everything.
Yeah.
They need the support, the guidance and the counselling to actually have that.
Well, absolutely. It's not just a case of physical health either, it's mental health. And that, it links back
Going deep.
Well, exactly, but it links back into our boxing as well. I think we can safely announce our conclusion that boxers are indeed mental.
Yeah, 100%.
We're getting better on these timed.
Yeah, we really
time
are,
stuff.
aren't we?
Yeah,
We're
that
working on it.
was seamless.
Fantastic. So should we move on to our next topic?
Right. So our next topic is going to be the Checker Trade Trophy final.
What a game.
And I've got to say, as a Pompey, I was born in Portsmouth, not a Pompey fan, just want to put that out there, but I do quite like the club, and I was very, very pleased at the game, and just to see them at Wembley, after the shit that they've been through.
Yeah,
I mean, they have been through the mire.
I mean, what a spectacle. Absolute, fair play to all of the people not just on the pitch to put that together as well. I think to get 89,000 people in there.
It's
It's a fan effort.
the second most viewed game in Europe. 2 League One sides.
It just shows that even the lower leagues, they get so much support. And I mean, obviously, Pompey have had so much support over the years. They've been in the Premier League, and it's unfortunate they've gone
had
down.
3 relegations over there since leaving the Premier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it was 3 and 4 years, wasn't it? Because I think
it's
the only
poor,
team, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only team to get 3 back-to-back relegations in a row was Blackpool. I don't know why I know that, and it might be completely wrong.
And also,
but I think that
you
might be true.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
think
it.
it's bang on with that. And but Just phenomenal piece of football.
So if you didn't see the game, Sunderland took the lead after 35 minutes. Aidan McGeady, who's found his
Aidan
shooting
McGeady.
boots this
Inventor
season,
of the McGeady spin.
which isn't anything we want to
That's
see.
one for our FIFA 12 listeners.
Yeah.
Pompey score a response in the 82nd minute to take it to extra time, which Pompey then go ahead and score in the 114th minute. They think it's all over. It isn't.
It's not now.
Aidan McGeady pops up in the 119th.
Picking up his brace.
Takes us to penalties. Only one man missed a penalty, and it was Lee Cattermole.
Lee Cattermole.
You'd expect them all to pop up on that one, but
World-class midfielder is Lee Cattermole.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Surprised he lasted that long without getting sent off, really.
Or his legs breaking.
Yeah, I mean, he must be about 84.
but this sort of game is a testament to how strong football is as a means of entertainment. You know, is there any? I don't think that you could argue there's any other sport that brings the world together like football.
85,000 people showing up to watch 22 sweaty men running around.
One including Lee Cattermole.
It's not like there's like eye candy.
No,
or anything.
eye
We've got
candy.
Lee Cattermole.
No,
Aidan McGeady. It's not a star-studded lineup either, but it just shows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
it does, yeah.
I just want to say fair play to Kenny Jackett. You know, he took over from Paul Cook, who promoted Portsmouth. If you don't know how Portsmouth got promoted last season, season before that, sorry, it was stunning. They were fourth going into the final day. They needed 2 teams to lose and 1 team to draw, and they needed to win by like 3 goals. They won 5-1 on the day, and the other team slipped up and they took the title. Amazing.
Brilliant.
But then Paul Cook fucked off to Wigan. So fair play to Kenny Jackett coming in, steadying the ship.
Good manager.
And pushing forward. And you don't know, if Southampton get relegated, they could meet each other in the Championship again. Which they won't, because Cardiff, we've already discussed.
That's true. Yeah, we already
Southampton looking good.
Yeah, Southampton will be alright.
No, I'm sure they will. This whole game seems to produce a wealth of stories, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about it, but I think it's time to go on to our next piece of sporting-related news and discussion.
So Dave, tell us about the Old Firm derby.
So, it was 2-1 to Celtic. We had a red card in there somewhere. Was it for... Who was it for? Morelos, who's picked up stupid amount of cards this season as it is. 5 reds and 19...
I think it's like 17 now.
More like 17 yellows. Too many to defend at this point, as Stevie G has come out and said. But
I mean, that must be a yellow. If you think about it, that must almost a yellow. Well, if 5 yellow cards, 5 red cards, and something. That's almost
it's a card
game.
It's almost a yellow card every other game.
So the
Is
thing
it class
is,
if he gets 2 yellows?
he scored like something north of 30 goals this season, right? So he's clearly bloody good.
But he just needs to control it.
He's a petulant child. Like Scott Brown walked behind him and tapped the back of his ankle with his foot. Like literally, little love tap with his foot. Like it was nothing.
Tap.
And Morelos elbows him in the face.
Yeah,
You go.
it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
I mean, no one's denying that Scott Brown is a wanker, but elbow him in the face after the game.
Do it in the tunnel.
Your team needs you. They're
Yeah.
1-0 down. You're their star man, and you're elbowing someone in the face. Kent scored a banger after Edouard scored a banger,
Yeah.
and then Forrest scored a goal. And Liam, did you get to see the atrocious defending for this goal?
I did. It was just. You can't describe it. I mean, you could say that Huddersfield are the shittest.
Better or worse than Shotdown Mustafi?
I would. Well, it's probably going to be worse than Shotdown Mustafi.
Jesus Christ! Sound the alarm.
Yeah, I mean, James Tavernier. What was he thinking, passing the ball away? It's just embarrassing. The fact that he should top.
You have that man as your captain.
He's captain. Do you know what I mean?
You have all the people to be making sound decisions on your team.
Captain. Yeah, he needs to be level-headed, especially in the Old Firm derby. He needs to be that man that controls the
Biggest game of
the
the
game.
He's literally got one job, which is to be sensible and to keep the team together.
Control
And
his, yeah.
he does that.
Passes the ball.
And actually, he's been quality this season. He's been a proper leader. He's played really well this season, but it was just abject. I mean, it was.
Abjectly ridiculous. But yeah, it was good.
Amazing
Whose
spectacle.
sides are you on, boys?
I'm Rangers,
He's gonna be
obviously.
Rangers.
Yeah.
I like. See, I think. I mean, sorry to the Scottish people, but I think the Scottish League is a joke sometimes. The fact that it's. I mean, when Rangers were completely gone, it was just going to be Celtic. So I think. I mean, it is getting better now with Hearts and Kilmarnock coming up. But the fact that I am now more the fact that Rangers will get. I'm more on the side of Rangers.
But
Celtic
it's still
have
a
had their
13-point gap.
I know, no. I meant of not to win the league. I meant to the one I like the most is probably Rangers for the support that they need and the way they've come back.
I like.
I don't get me wrong. I do like Celtic.
No.
I do
You were
like
about to say Celtic.
No.
Oh.
My family actually is very much Rangers.
Oh, really?
Cause I've got some family up in Scotland, but
Learn something new on the pod.
the look of Celtic, his badge and its kit makes me like them more. I just prefer, the look of Celtic is so much better than like a
But
Rangers.
Scott Brown, mate.
No, I'm very
He's a
aware.
wanker.
I significantly prefer Rangers, I think. But
Yeah.
I
But
don't
the
know.
kit is nice, to be fair.
And they have got the. I just remember them against Barca. If you think about Celtic team, they've had Van Dijk. They have one. They have Wanyama.
Wanyama,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wanyama. They had. I want to say Elliot at one point.
They also had Dembele, who's now at
Yeah,
Lyon.
yeah.
They've had some
Phenomenal
There's
set
some
of
good
really
players.
likeable players, I think. So it was hard not to like them. I think that's enough on the Old Firm derby. Should we
I'm
get
happy
on
to
to the
move
most
on.
exciting part of our
Can
podcast?
I have? Yeah. Okay. I have a rant. Which is the fact that I went to the MK Dons game against Forest Green. We were away against Forest Green.
How'd that game go, Liam?
We won 2-1. Russell
Nice.
Martin scoring in the. I think it was about the 84th minute. They didn't have a time thing, and I haven't looked. I think it was the 84th minute. It wasn't the best goal, but it was a goal. We've now gone the second. I know that other teams have got games to play, but it's looking good if you're
Is
MK Dons.
there a Q&A got goal in there as well?
There was a Kieran Agard goal.
Would you like to-
21 goals. I mean, did start slagging him off at the beginning of the season, as did many MK Dons supporters. But
Would you like to tell the people what your bet was?
my bet was, okay, me and my friend Matt, we did have a bet. The fact that if he was going to score 20 league goals this season, we would get a tattoo of his initials somewhere. Okay?
So
he's
that's
now
a
got
KA
20.
somewhere on your body.
Yeah, he's now got 21 league goals.
And now you've just said that on a
I know.
podcast to the world.
Odds on.
So,
Oh, here we go. So you've made the bet. Okay. You have a get out of jail card, but that is odds on.
So I'm doing this for Matt and
to
myself.
five.
Five?
That's you get because you've already said you'll do it.
That's
Okay.
steep, I think.
Okay, fine. How about
21.
10? 10. Considering
league
you
goals.
already said you'd do it.
25.
So I'm
Yes,
giving you a
but
get
whoever
out
thought
of
that
jail.
Kieran Agard, of all people, that's got about
That's not the point.
minus
In
goals
fairness,
last
that's not the
year.
point.
It's
You
a
made the
get
bet.
out of jail. I am letting you go against your word. Your word is
20.
your bond, Liam.
20.
And I'm valuing your bond.
Okay,
20.
fine.
I did
This isn't the rant, by
50.
the way. This isn't the rant, but I'll go.
15 to 1.
15 to 1. Do you
Okay.
agree on that?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll count us down, boys. All you
And,
listeners.
here's the double jeopardy. Dave and I will say different numbers. If you match
I'm not
with-
saying anything. I'm counting down.
No. You're in as well. And if he matches with either of us.
No, that's
he's
not.
in.
No.
Oh, come on!
If you're doing that, it has to be 20 then.
Okay, fine. To 20, but we're both in.
Okay.
Mate,
do
I'm
it.
sorry, it's gonna happen.
Literal poo is coming out.
So, KA to go on Liam's
Can we,
body,
hang on,
20 to
Can
1.
we just have the verbal binding contract? Liam, do you agree to this?
Yes.
Liam,
Fantastic.
shake my hand.
This isn't very good for the audio listeners. I know.
Okay, for those
I mean,
of you
the
at
thing
home,
is,
he's
we're on a
just shaking my
podcast, so
hand.
you never know
Now
what
it's
to
coming out. Are we ready?
We are ready.
1 to 20. Odds on for Liam to get KA for Kieran Agard tattooed on his body.
I'm actually
Scoring more
sweating.
than 20 goals. 3, 2, 1, 2.
Two.
He's done it!
Come on!
Oh mate, that is a poor decision making.
No! No!
Kieran A. God, you're coming home.
This is why we do this.
This is the Odds On podcast. Thank you very much, Liam.
This is why I should not have betted on this thing. I mean, well done, Kieran A. God, you've had dessert, but that's not my rant.
Dan, your food's going off.
Dan's food
It's
is
all
ready.
kicking off on the Odds On podcast.
Okay, so Liam,
No, my
you continue your rant.
Okay, so Forest Green, respectful club. I love the club. It's coming up from the ranks. It's really good. Why the fuck do you serve vegan food? I'm sorry.
It's not exclusively.
It's exclusively vegan.
Sorry.
I couldn't even have a pint at half time. No one can have a pint at half time unless you smuggle it in. It's like going to this rehab centre. You can't have.
Yeah, we all know you need to go to rehab.
We all know you need to go. The fact that you couldn't have a beer at half time because it wasn't vegan. There are vegan beers available. I don't have anything against if people are going vegan, but this is the rant that don't make people do what they want to do. I'm not making vegans eat meat by coming to the football games. There are vegan options available at MK Dons. The fact,
Subtle plug for the MK Dons.
the fact is though, I went and you can have a choice. Okay, it's healthy. But you're not going to have a salad, which they offer to serve at a game. You're not all going to stand there with a pot of salad and have a fork. You want a burger, you want a hot dog, you want a pie. You don't want a salad, or you don't want a quinoa wrap or something.
I think the big thing is, it's not that you want those things, it's when you want the choice of being able to have those.
I couldn't even have ketchup on my chips because it's not vegan.
Nice.
I had to have this stupid sauce that was like, well, I could piss thicker.
Most,
Do you know what I mean?
most people know the sauce is mayonnaise, but
It's not mayonnaise. They didn't even have mayonnaise. It was this red. It wasn't ketchup, but it was a different red sauce. It was like vegan ketchup. It was rubbish. So, okay, I understand that. Try and be vegan is a great opportunity. It's great willpower, but don't shove it down people's throats. Don't shove. I'm not shoving meat down vegans' throats.
But what you are doing is tattooing KA somewhere
Shut
on your
up.
body. Which
I've actually lost that for Matt as well. Matt's got to do it as well. You've met Matt.
That's true.
our pod will be following this very closely, and we'll make sure that this happens.
The social media, we have a keen eye on everywhere now. This is how we get the viewers in now. Shock and awe tactics.
Sorry, Liam.
so-
Thank you for being our special guest this week.
I know. What have I accomplished? I've come on this show to help you out. What have I accomplished? I'm leaving with KA, which could be a car.
You've got a Ford car tattoo.
I've got a Ford car tattoo on my somewhere that's not going to be visible.
The show is picked up, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, clear, strong words from Liam here, set to the the board.
I mean, okay, it's
Forest
good,
Green.
fair enough. But Forest Green, a good side. I'm not going to look at.
But
They
it's
played
not
really well.
stopping, is
But
it?
don't shove it down our throats.
Absolutely, and I think it's very important that you give fans the choice, especially if you want to please away fans to come to your stadium.
Can't
You
even
make-
have a beer. Can't even have a beer.
Exactly. It's
So-
not the best.
So
Can't even
from
do
one,
we can't even do the chant who ate all the pies.
he just won't stop,
Can't
ladies
do
and
the
gents.
chant.
So, from one big mad rant to another moment of pure excitement, it's time for Dan's section about snooker and cycling.
For fuck's sake.
I would like to apologise officially to Adam Yates, who last week we suggested he may have accomplished something in cycling, and the fact of the matter is, as of yet, he hasn't. No,
Why are we apologising?
we were confused about whether it was Simon or Adam who'd won the Vuelta a España last year. It was Simon who won the Vuelta. Adam came fourth in the Tour a couple of years ago, won Best Young Rider, which no British guy had done before. And he went and came second in the Volta Catalunya. Well done to Adam. Rode really well. Good to see him going. Mikel Angel Lopez won that, so fair play to him. Some snooker news. The Chinese Open has begun. I can hear you all getting well excited for this. So the big news is in the qualifying rounds, former world number one Mark Selby got knocked out by Craig Steadman, who is ranked 92 in the world. Okay, Mark Selby really not in form, and the World Championships come up on the 20th of April. Really excited for that. Ronnie is clearly the favourite now. Number one. I think if you're going to bet against him, a sensible bet might be Neil Robertson, but I think we'll talk more about that in April. It is April.
April Fools.
But my favourite story out of snooker this week, Anthony McGill. All right, no one's ever heard of him, obviously, but he overslept, and he got a phone call 2 minutes before his match, going, "Where are you?" So he got dressed and brushed his teeth as he was going into the arena. Went on to play, was Dr. Frame, because obviously he was late, and went on to win the match and went through. So fair play to John McGill.
No, I mean, I wish you could put that in like football. Yeah, but the guys run on. Sorry, boys.
So that concludes my snooker and cycling
What a shame.
part of the pod.
Thank
What
goodness for that.
No, everyone was.
Everyone tuned in for this. This is what the people tune in for.
Exactly.
So I think that concludes our sports news and our weekly discussions about sports. After our short break, we'll be getting into our bets that we're going to be making for tonight and the rest of the week's Premier League games. Welcome back to the Odds On podcast.
Unfortunately,
Well, depending on how you look at it.
Liam has had to step out for the last bit of the podcast.
He stepped down. The media's covering it. It's all over.
So hopefully you enjoyed having him on.
He won't be coming back anytime soon.
We'll have some follow-up. won't we?
After we've forced him to get a tattoo. I don't think we'll be having another special guest. But we have been in contact with a few other people, and they are wanting to be special guests on our podcast. So
hopefully
that'll
we'll have a
come
few
to
more.
light at some point.
Yeah,
But
that'd be
for
good.
now, we're going to move on to our bets. Last week was not very successful. We made
Pretty close.
a few right calls, but as expected, we were not on the money this time. But this week, we're feeling a lot more confident going into this one, aren't we, Dan?
We're confident for this. I think we've been a bit more sensible. The odds down a little bit, but I think we'll be all right.
The odds are on. Right, let's get into our first bet of the week. Our first game is Watford versus Fulham. Who do we go for?
And that's on Tuesday.
Yep.
So we have gone for Watford.
Watford.
to beat.
I think it'll be a convincing victory.
We've gone for Fulham to go down here.
Let's be honest.
They're so bad.
They
at
are
football.
terrible at football.
As we've already discussed, they are absolutely terrible.
Absolutely bum, and that's a pretty easy one
We
to
think
call.
they're gone. Yep.
Our next game, Wolves versus Manchester United. Who have we got and why, Dan?
So this is going to be our feature game this week. So we'll have a little bit more of a chat about it. But we have gone for Wolves to beat Man United this week at home.
They beat them in the FA Cup.
Yeah, could be
That on its own is a solid enough reason. But
could be
following up from our last podcast where we chatted about Ollie, I just think that our predictions will come to light.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I want money, so.
So our next bet is Chelsea versus Brighton.
We weren't very kind to Chelsea last week, were we?
And in fairness, they definitely deserve to lose.
Absolutely. But we think that at this point, they've got to win.
Yeah,
they have to
can't
beat
lose
Brighton.
this one.
So we've got a Chelsea victory against Brighton. Our next game, Manchester City versus the Cardiff.
I'd love to say that Cardiff are going to win this game, but
I feel like this is going to be a running theme until the end of the season, that whoever City play, you're going to want them to win.
of course, every rational human being at this point will want City to lose, but they are going to beat Cardiff.
Every rational human being. I'd love to see the comments on this video when it comes from.
There won't be it.
They won't. Brutal. So we've got a City victory against Cardiff because of course we do. Our next game, Tottenham versus Crystal Palace.
Okay, Tottenham in their new stadium, Wonky Ponky.
Wonky Ponky, Andy Pandy Stadium.
We think, unfortunately, they're going to get off to a good start. I mean, they've been on a terrible run of form. Dave just drinking his water there really loudly.
I've got to keep hydrated. Stay energised.
Oh my god.
We're talking about the Spurs stadium. I don't give a shit if it's too loud.
They're gonna kick
will.
off well.
This was actually the one we disagreed on. I think Palace will win this.
Spurs are going to win this game. Unfortunately, I can't see them slipping up Yeah,
that
it'll
much.
it'll put them 6 games with no win
Yeah.
and 5 defeats. Yeah,
Yeah, I see
I
it.
can't see it.
I see it
I
happening.
can't see it.
Anyway, but we've gone for a Spurs victory on that one because it's probably more likely than the Palace one.
So quite conservative so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And sticking with this theme, Liverpool versus Southampton.
We've gone for a Liverpool win.
I disagree.
Yeah, well, you would. But we've gone for a Liverpool win against the B side, and we'll see what happens.
Jeez. You've lost at least one of our subscribers.
Our one and only subscriber is a Saints fan.
Brutal. So we've got a
dear.
Liverpool victory. Next game, Bournemouth versus Burnley. I'm not going to have any input on any Burnley game from now on because of my decision.
We went for a draw in this one.
Yeah.
Bournemouth are pretty handy at home. But
Burnley started to pick it up again.
yeah, exactly. I think a draw is probably a reasonable result. This is the one I'm least confident on. If I'm
Leicester
honest.
versus Huddersfield.
I'm not very confident on this one. But we've gone for a Leicester win away at
Yeah. You
Huddersfield.
th-
Huddersfield are gone.
Yeah.
But I just think
You think they're going to have a bit of spark now?
yeah, now that they've got nothing to lose, and
Yeah.
the pressure's off, they might just go for it.
But
I don't
again,
know.
they are terrible football.
they
so,
are really bad.
You know, I've got a sneaky suspicion Leicester will probably just edge it, I imagine.
I mean, we've been blessed this year with 2 teams, Huddersfield and Fulham, who are just 2 of the worst teams I've ever seen in the
It's
Premier
like
League.
It's like a bye. Like, you
It's
just win no matter what happens.
Bad.
So we've gone for a Leicester victory. Our next game, Newcastle versus Crystal Palace. So we've got 2 Palace games this week, which I've just realised.
Oh, that's alright.
But who cares? this is our podcast.
We do what we want, mate.
Yeah, Newcastle versus Crystal Palace. We've gone with Newcastle.
Have we now? Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Nah, they'll
they
win
will.
that.
I reckon a Solomon Rondon goal, maybe an Almiron.
Yeah, he doesn't tend to score Almiron, just tends to look good and actually have no end product.
Does he
But we'll
look
see
good?
If he improves that. Yeah, he's quite an attractive man.
Oh, I thought it was a bit cammy.
Oh, well.
Sorry, Almiron.
So we pissed off all Saints fans, Almiron.
The country of Montenegro.
We're doing well. Last bet.
The mighty Arsenal versus the not so mighty Everton.
Again,
Difficult.
it is difficult, but we had to stick with
Arsenal
our
away
teams,
from
didn't we?
home. No, I'm not confident in that one. But my side has proved me wrong a lot.
We've stuck with our
They've-
team and we'll see what happens.
Either they've proved me wrong a lot, whether that's for the best or for the worst. They've proved me wrong a lot. So they you know, hopefully, they will prove us right this week. And so we've put down a 50p stake. As always, we don't put down a lot. It's
Yep.
pocket change, and our return this week would be £272.93.
Which would be nice.
We're really looking to get some new mics, so you probably won't have to hear me drinking water. You might not hear our chairs squeaking as much as well. So hopefully we win this week.
You say chairs as if we're not sat on
Yeah,
the
we're
floor
on
right now.
We've had to take drastic measures.
Yeah, we're currently back in Dave's bedroom, sat on the floor.
It really has been the podcast on wheels this week.
Yeah, brilliant. Shall we look at our feature bet?
Our feature bet this week, Manchester United versus Wolves. And this week we have said that Leander Dendoncker
What a name.
will score at some point in the match.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
Anthony Martial will be the first to score in the game.
Let's just hope he plays. Because
swear to
obviously
God.
that front three is.
The amount of shit we've had to deal with, the players not starting, Son didn't start last week. I would not be wanting that to happen again. Full-time score, Wolves 2-1.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable bet actually.
Man, there's something about this Manchester United side that the only time that they will lose seems to be from if they were in a winning position.
No, I buy that. They're very good at
Letting it
blowing
slip.
it.
Yeah, they're a great blowing side.
Oh, good.
Wolves will win from behind, we're going to say. What's wrong? Oh, they're a great blowing side then. That's the only issue with that. There'll be over 0 goal kicks in the first 10 minutes for United. So United with no goal kicks in the first 10 minutes. And Pogba will be booked.
Yeah, we're pretty confident on this one.
Yeah, it's a tasty 5,000 to 1 odds. And I think we put down 10p on this one, didn't
10p,
we? 10p, so
10p
that'd be a
stake on
nice £500 and 10p return, wouldn't it?
yeah, it would be.
I would do some new chairs maybe once those week. Save the mics.
Yeah, it was like when you said we get some new mics. No, we need to get a mic. And go from there.
We'll put from the ground up.
We'll get some chairs. We'll get a mic.
I'll get a small quiet water bottle.
I mean, I don't know why you're not drinking beer, but you know that's up to you.
I've got to stay up. My voice needs to be in peak physical condition.
Oh my god.
we can't all be blessed with the ability to speak as well as you, I'm afraid.
So yeah, what do we want people to be sending us in this week?
This week, we obviously want more odds-on games. We had to come up with our own this week. It did sort of come up in the spur of the moment, and I think anyone else's one would never have been as good as the one that we actually had.
It was amazing.
We'd love to hear some more odds-on suggestions for either me or Dan, or even both of us.
Yeah.
Hopefully they won't be too drastic, but what can you do? So it's out of our hands. It's the people's pod, as we like to say.
Absolutely.
We'd also love to see some topics that you'd like us to discuss.
Yep.
Any questions, don't have to be sporting related.
Oh dear, that
opens a different can of worms, I think.
And please get on the Twitter, get on the Facebook, follow,
God,
like.
the Facebook.
Get
You
on the
sound
Facebook
about
page.
80, right?
Well, I tell you what, it took me ages to set up the Facebook.
You couldn't even
page.
get our email right in the first pod.
I didn't understand what was going on. Like, I genuinely didn't know how to find it once I'd made it. So I saved the hyperlink.
Find the piece. You can find our own podcast.
No, it wasn't
Jesus, mate. Well, hopefully you're more socially adept than Dan, and you'll be able to find our links. I'll leave them in the description, as always.
We'll throw pictures of the bets up on Twitter. This may well come out after the Man United game.
So, fingers
we'll
crossed. But we'll try and edit it as quick as possible. And our next podcast is a special episode. I know we're only 2 episodes in.
Is it next one?
Is it?
Are we doing one Friday, or are we just ploughing on?
We might have 2 episodes coming out, won't we then?
Oh,
It might be a busy week for the Odds On podcast. The pods are on the Odds On.
Oh my god! I told you not to say that.
Oh, I'm sorry, you got away with Is Ole gonna succeed? I can get away with
That's a great tagline.
Pods on! Pods on!
Used it in the bloody description.
It's the Odds On podcast. The pod is on.
Oh my
Come
God.
on. Anyway, the pod is on.
No one agrees with you. Please, on our Twitter, tell Dave that no one agrees with this.
Oh, that's just cyberbullying now, mate. Anyway, the pod is on maybe twice this week. But at least one of those, well, there'll definitely be our special episode for WrestleMania, which is coming up this Sunday. And hopefully you'll be there to join us. And hopefully we'll have a few new faces coming up over the coming weeks.
Yeah, faces over a podcast.
What do you
that has
mean?
no video.
This is a social interaction site, Dan. The Google Plus community might be in touch.
Oh god, no.
But not the Google Plus community. So the pod is on, and we'll hope.
And if you liked Liam, let us know, and we'll drag him back.
We'll
out.
drag it back. Get him to get another tattoo. We might have a few special guests on as well, hopefully. And well, thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Odds On podcast. And we will see you in our WrestleMania special episode.
All the best.